You can deploy the entire platform in the cloud and do that as bring your own license or do that as a metered iPaaS service. And that gives you everything. That gives you all the sources, all the targets, all the capabilities of the platform. There are also cut down versions that you can deploy for particular solutions. So for example, if you have on-premise Oracle databases and you want to push that data as it's changing, the updates to those Oracle databases to, say, SQL Data Warehouse or HD Insights or any of these other things, you could use this specific solution. And that's limited to being, you can still work with all of the sources, but you're limited to delivering the data into SQL Data Warehouse or Azure Storage or Cosmos DB or some of these other things. And they also are metered, they run as iPaaS. So there are different flavors of iPaaS. There are multi-tenant type of iPaaS where the vendor hosts the service for you and you log in and then you have access within an environment to being able to build data flows, etc. We chose not to go that route because customers are not typically that happy with the notion of them being in a joint multi-tenant environment when they are worried about data security and even that they have guaranteed use of resources, that their applications will run at the right speed, etc. So we did not go with the hosted route. We go with you buy it on Azure, AWS, Google Cloud as a metered service, and it is running in your cloud environment. You are responsible for the security and the data and all that kind of stuff. And that is, customers are much more comfortable with that than the notion of a multi-tenant solution for iPaaS. So that's what we have to offer in the Azure marketplace. This is the AWS marketplace, and this is the Google marketplace. So as you can see, we have metered solutions, iPaaS solutions on all three. So when you are working with the platform, first of all, I'll go through kind of how the wizards work. And so you can start by building applications. You can import existing applications. So if you've already built something in development, you can import it into production just by doing import. You can start building things from scratch and kind of drag and drop things into the flow designer, or you can start with a template. A lot of people do start with a template because it is kind of the easiest way to kind of get going. So for example, if you wanted to read stuff from a MySQL database on-premise and deliver into, just pick something at random. What's a good cloud thing that we could go for? Maybe Cosmos DB. You go MySQL CDC into Cosmos DB, for example. You'd name the application MySQL to Cosmos and put it in a namespace. Namespaces keep things separate, and the way our security works, you can lock things down so that only certain people have access to certain namespaces. You can do much finer grained things than that. So you can say, for example, I'm going to give users the access to the data that's produced at the end result of this data pipeline, but not to the raw data, because that has personally identifiable information in it, maybe some credit cards. We're going to filter all that out before we push it anywhere. So I'm going to create a new namespace for this and save this. And then you get to go through and actually kind of build the application. So MySQL CDC source, and then MySQL localhost 3306. So you're going through the wizard here and setting up the connection. And if I got everything right, it will test everything to make sure the connection is correct. This is an important step. One of the reasons we introduced all these wizards and the templates is because although all the instructions on doing all of this stuff is in our documentation, people just don't read it, and then they call support and they didn't know what to do because something wasn't working, right? So in these steps, we check to make sure that not only does the connection to the database work, but that connection has the right privileges, that in this case, change data capture, which is a way of collecting all the inserts, updates, and deletes as they happen in a database. So that is enabled at the database level. And that you can get to the database metadata, so you can actually see what tables and columns and things like that there are. If any of these steps don't work, then we'll tell you what to do. Basically, the instructions are in the manual. We moved it into the wizard, so we can tell people what to do. And in certain cases, we can even do it for you. So then you get to choose some data. So let's just choose something like this, and just go on to the next step. And then finally, you'll configure your target.